is up, guys? Welcome to Behind the Beat. I am your host, Chris Langen. And today we're going to be talking about independence, using some of the methods that Gary Chester uses in the book, The New Breed. Now, maybe you don't own The New Breed. Maybe you don't own any books. That's okay. I'm going to show you a couple different things you can do to get the basics down. Okay, so let me just first start off by explaining what is actually taking place in The New Breed. Okay, in that book, he has 39 different systems. They're called systems. Basically, what a system is a pattern between, let's say, your right hand, your left hand, and your left foot. Okay, so the system I'm going to use today for you, now this is just one of them, but this one is going to be 16th notes on the ride, 2 and 4 on the snare, and quarter notes with your left foot. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, now the whole idea is to master your system, and then you flip to about halfway through the book, and what he has is a dozen or more pages of melodies. Okay, and what those basically are your bass drum patterns. So what you want to do is play your system. Okay, you already memorized that, so you're not reading anything as far as music goes on your system. You're reading what the melody is, and that will be played with your bass drum. Okay, each measure is something different. I think he asks you to play each measure like 4 times or so, just to get it comfortable, and then move on to the next one. So, with that many systems and that many different melodies, you can imagine all of the different combinations and possibilities you could possibly run through. Great for independence, working all of your limbs, getting your coordination down. On top of that, he asks you to sing quarter notes. Okay, so you're going to want to play along to a metronome, but he wants you to actually vocally sing 1, 2, 3, 4. While you're running through all the melodies. Okay, so in all actuality, you're using 5 different things. You got 4 limbs going, plus you're singing. Okay, so it's really, really good to help you gain independence with all of your limbs. All right, now, like I said before, let's say you don't own that book. All right, that's okay. Let's say you own syncopation, okay? You might know that book as being a snare drum style book, okay? What you can do is take the patterns in syncopation and use them as your bass drum melodies, okay? So I believe it's lesson 4, the very first example, number 1. It's 8th notes on beat 1, quarter notes on beats 2, 3, and 4, okay? So first, come up with a system. You could do whatever you want. You could play 8th notes on the ride. You could play the ands with your left foot, 2 and 4 on the snare. Develop a system. Get a bunch of different ones that you can play. Then read through syncopation and play those lines with your right foot on the bass drum. Okay? So I'm going to do that right now. We're going to use that first example from lesson 4 in syncopation as an example for how this would actually work. Okay, I'm going to throw a metronome on here and play along. So again, it's going to be 16th notes on the ride, 2 and 4 on the snare, quarter notes on my hi-hat, and the bass drum pattern that I'm going to be playing, 8th notes on 1, quarter notes on 2, 3, and 4. Here we go. You see the idea. Now, let's say you don't own syncopation. You don't own any books for that matter. Well, I'm fairly certain that you probably own a cell phone or a laptop or an iPad or something because you're watching this. What you want to do is Google beginner snare drum music, okay? And go to the images. You're going to find a lot of exercises in there that are pretty basic snare drum exercises. What you want to look for is stuff that is based in eighth notes, quarter notes, dotted eighth notes, sixteenths, maybe even some triplet stuff. Because those are the patterns you're going to be playing with your right foot on the bass drum. So you want to make sure it's something doable. You don't want to get into like heavy 16th notes or 32nd notes or stuff like that because it's not going to be doable with one foot. Okay, so yeah, look online, Google images, beginner snare drum music. Okay, run those as your bass drum pattern. Now again, you want to switch up your system. So it doesn't always have to be 16th notes on the ride and quarter notes on your left foot. Maybe you want to do eighth notes on your ride and playing the ands with your left foot. So something like this. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and. Okay. Now, let's put a bass drum melody underneath that. I'm going to switch this one up. Let's do quarter notes on beats 1 and 2, eighth notes on beat 3, and another quarter note on 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, that's going to go underneath my new system. Here we go. Okay. Guys, there's so many possibilities and combinations that you can do. Develop some systems, get a handful of them. Different things. Maybe you want to play triplets. Okay. Run your bass drum underneath that. This is going to help your independence. It's going to give each of your limbs its own brain. It's going to help you develop in a way that you can play, complex things without having to really think about it. Okay? Do this a lot. Do it to a metronome. Spend as much time as you need on one particular pattern. Whereas in the New Breed, he kind of wants you to play each measure about 4 times and move on. Take your time. Work one thing until you can play it perfectly without any hiccups. Okay, then move on. Try something new. This is the method he uses, and it works. I'm going through the New Breed now, and I'm finding my weak spots. So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to identify where your weaknesses are, and then focus on working on them. All right, guys. So if you have any questions or comments, or maybe you found a cool a melody that you use for your bass drum, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to talk with you guys about what you're doing, what you're finding that works, what's not working, where you're having trouble. Leave a comment below. Let's chat about it. Okay? Make sure you subscribe, guys. Lots more lessons, covers, gear reviews, song breakdowns, stuff like that on this page. So, all right. Until next time, guys. See you in the next lesson.